Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you a double jumbo Tealight box. It was actually inspired by one that the lovely Poodles made. She did a single jumbo Tealight box with the windows. Mine has a little brad in the top just there that's also holding this beautiful wire element here. And then it's just got a little swing round, and obviously there's a little hole there to see your Tealight, which I've also decorated with some tissue paper. It's an optional box, so you can have it as a little hanger. So you could hang it on your tree, although it is quite heavy, but not too bad. So you could hang it on your tree or on, you know, whatever you wanted. Or you could just have it without the hanger and just have it as a simple box. And obviously it opens up, and inside are your two jumbo Tealights. It's fairly easy to make, and this is just my favourite. I always have, or I seem to suddenly discover a favourite in most of the catalogues now, and as you know, the Tropical Chic was my favourite one from the annual, and I think this Joyous Noel has to be my favourite from the autumn winter. I just love it. I can't stop using it. In fact, I've made a card today with using it as well. I don't know, I just love it, and I love the copper. I think it's just so pretty. So I'm going to show you how I made it. So to start off with, you need a sheet of cardstock that is 7 3/4 by 9.5, and that's 19.5 centimetres by 21 centimetres. So on the short side, we're going to score at 1 3/4, 3.5 and 6. I actually have the light reflecting on my sizing panel, so I'm having to sort of manoeuvre around to make sure that I can see it. So the short side was scoring at 1 3/4, 3.5 and 6, and in centimetres that's 4.5, 9 and 15.5. All the measurements will be on my blog as always anyway. And then on the long side we're going to score at 2.5, 4 1/4, 6 3/4 and 8.5, and in centimetres that is 6.5, 11, 17.5 and 22. And then we're going to do some folding and burnishing now of all those lovely score lines. And obviously this fabulous new catalogue will go live on the 5th of September, so it will be next week. I'm very excited, can't wait. There are just so many beautiful things in there, and as I said, this suite is probably one of my favourites, although there are lots of other amazing things in there. Okay, so now we need to cut our bits that we need to cut. So with your skinny strip to the right, you need to cut away the bottom right corner, and I'm just going to cut a small wedge here into that piece, and then again a small wedge, and we're going to cut away the top two pieces. So you're just left with that small tab there. So once we've got that, again with this now piece to your right, we're simply going to cut up these bits here, and this is going to form the base. So you're just cutting up those 4 pieces there, just to the first horizontal line. And then we're going to spin it round so that these two parts are facing you. And we are so I've got a little diagram at the side to help me, because I always end up cutting something wrong, and because I make things so far ahead I sometimes forget. So we're going to cut away both of these pieces here, so straight down the corner there and across the top. So we're going to cut that bit away. We're then going to cut down these two pieces here, and then on the smaller pieces we're going to cut the horizontal line. Oh, excuse me. Oh dear, I don't know where that's come from. then we need to cut small wedges off this top piece here, and then we're going to cut some very small wedges off these pieces here, and likewise on this one. And as you've guessed, these are the bits that I call the shoulders for the lid. So we'll just get rid of all of that. Okay, so when you finish cutting, you should be left with this shape. So here's your bottom pieces here. This is the main centre part of your box, your lid, your shoulders and your little tab. Okay, so next up then we need to cut, sorry no we don't, we need to stick our DSP on. And as I said, I'm using this stunning Joyous, I'm sure it's called Joyous Noel DSP. Yes it is, Joyous Noel DSP. And so you are going to need 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and they are 6 by 6 centimetres. So just a little bit of adhesive on this one, and obviously if you're using wet glue that's absolutely fine. For this one I'm going to put a lot of adhesive on because I'm going to be die cutting the circle, and obviously I want the whole of the edge to be stuck so that when I cut my circle out I don't have the edge of the paper flapping around because it's not got adhesive. And then you need 4 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 1 1/2, which is 6 by 4 centimetres. So pop that one on there. And I love paper that doesn't have a direction when you're doing something like this, and the reason being is because when you start sticking this on, for example with this one, if you wanted it to be just a normal open closed box, you'd obviously want to have your DSP running either one way or the other. Then if you think, actually no, I'm going to have it as a hanger, your DSP's running wrong. So at least with this one and this one, it really doesn't matter which way you have it, because it will work whichever. And then one goes on the lid, and then one actually goes on the base, which will be, let me get this right, this one. Okay, so once we've done all of that, I'm then coming in with my fabulous tear and tape, and we're going to pop, just while I've got this to hand, get this bit done. So I just want a couple of bits on my tab, just there. It's funny, isn't it? And then just before I tell you that little tail then, and then you want this piece on the back of the bit you've put DSP on. Yes, when these ink colours for the Tranquil Tide came out, I really wasn't a fan of Tranquil Tide. It didn't appeal to me. That and Lemon Lime Twist, you know, I just thought, yeah, okay, I'm not a huge fan. And then, as usual, over time, and good old Stampin' Up bring out products that coordinate with these, I absolutely love Lemon Lime Twist and Tranquil Tide now. Isn't it funny how it changes when you start to use something more? Anyway, layering circles. When I first made this, I actually used my circle punch because I had this flap on here. So it meant that obviously is the equivalent. Let me grab my punch to show you. So with the equivalent of this one, it was just as simple as doing that. But I can't get to that without punching onto something else. And the reason I wanted that side was because if it was here when your box is closed up, that would fold over here, and then where you've got your circle, this bit showed through, and I didn't want to be cutting that because it looked a mess. So that is the whole reason it's done the way it is. So while I'm gassing, let's do this. So bringing in my Big Shot, and the size of this does work. If you tuck this top lip just under once, it will fit on your clear plates. so you don't have to worry too much. And then we're simply going to pop the circle, which I will measure in a moment, my layering circle just in the centre there. Make sure it doesn't move. Let's run it through. I don't think I need to big shot anything else, so that's a bonus. That can go out of the way. So let's just move all of this, and then I'll just simply pop that out, and you can see now why I wanted to make sure that adhesive was stuck, because I don't want this catching or pulling. So that's that bit. If you want to save this to make a little tag, you could do. It's quite handy, and obviously the DSP is stuck well onto the card. This is around 4 centimetres, and it's hard to say. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 5/8. So that's the size of that circle, which I've just used to cut that out. So the next part then is this is a piece of the cardstock that was left off this when I cut it down, and this is left off a piece of, I want to say 6x6 DSP. So again, if you've bought my card kit and you've got DSP left over, you can actually make this with it too. So the next bit I want to do now is I'm going to stick this onto my card, which again you'll see I'm adding lots of fabulous adhesive. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then I've got a 2-inch circle punch here that just fits, that will pop that one out. And then before I put my box together and it becomes a fiddle, the beautiful, oh my goodness, wire element. So I've obviously got the star on this one, and you get snowflakes as well. Aren't they just beautiful? And they're really quite sturdy, quite a good size as well. I really do like them. And then I've got my metallic brads, so obviously I need a copper one, and I am using the smallest size. And then I've got, this is actually out of my clear block box. Crikey, try saying that fast. And I just use it to keep my paper piercers in, because it keeps them to hand. So what I need to do now is I don't want to line it up because it doesn't match any of the DSP. I think I might go with it that way. So you need to simply pierce a hole in the top, and then when you pull your paper piercer out, try and hold either side so it doesn't pull and tear at this. So I'm going to pop this through there, so it just fits through the top of the snowflake there, and then it's going to go through there. And I'm not opening it out yet because it needs to go on here, and so again I need to just create a small hole, do exactly the same when you pull it out, and then this will sit. And trust me, it's easier to do this now than when you've got this all built up, because that's what I was doing with that, hence this not closing too well, because I kept having to open it and fiddle. So obviously then you just separate the backs of your brad, and I give that a little press actually, and it will just open it out. And so there's your beautiful little window decoration and brad just sat on there. Isn't that pretty? And now we can make this box up. Make this box up real quick. So take the backing off the sides there, and I normally would lie this down, but because I've got that wire element I don't want it to give me a false straight, so I'm just going to do it that way. So that's that bit done, and then obviously for the base we just pop the sides in, the back, and then we'll take the backing off this, and we can just close this up. My dogs are trotting about. They're actually not in the window today. They did have a treat, but they're now, I don't actually know what they're doing. They don't sound like they're up to no good. They're like children. The minute you're occupied and not watching them, they just get up to mischief. Right, so I'm going to pop this one tea light in ready. And then this one. So that essentially is, oh bother, I forgot to do the hoop for my ribbon. That is essentially your box. Don't panic, I can still do it. Take that out. Handheld punch. I should just be able to. If I remember actually when I did it, I did this exactly the same on the other one. No, it won't work now because I've got the brad on. Remember to punch your hole for your ribbon because this isn't going to be truly central. Okay. Girls, what are you doing? Oh my goodness, they're wrecking the house. Okay, we won't put ribbon on this one. Remember to punch your hole if you need to, if you want to put a ribbon loop on yours. So we'll just put that to one side for a moment. Oh, nearly forgot us again. 1/2 inch circle punch is simply just popped there, just to obviously give it ease to open. And then we're just going to quickly decorate our tea light. Daisy. So I've got some tissue paper. I do apologise, it's because the other one's playing up. Right, so I have some tissue paper and I've actually got some vellum where you can use... Daisy, enough. You could use scrap card, anything is ideal, but you just need something to give it a bit of sturdiness, if you like, when you're punching. So I'm just popping that over there, and I just simply want, that's not going to work there, is it? Let's try it this way. Right. You could just cut the circle out, but I don't want to just cut my circle out. So I'm using the vellum, as I say, as a thickener, if you like, because it won't just punch through the tissue paper on its own. And then simply with the tissue paper, come back in with my little block here, and I just want to make a small hole in the centre, and then I'm just gonna, it sounds awful, wiggle it around a little bit just to make it slightly bigger, and it's enough for the wick to fit through on the candle, which that will do perfectly. So all we need to do now is do some stamping. And I've simply gone with, grab my 2 small blocks. So I'm just simply using the holly leaf and those beautiful holly berries. And as you can see, it is beautiful photopolymer. You can see that it's well loved already. And then, yeah, I'm just simply using the full holly leaf and the full berries. Just nice and simple and delicate. Make sure you've got scrap paper down if you need it. And then I'm just grabbing Tranquil Tide and Merry Merlot, and then just simply, in fact, is that some scrap? Yes, I have a little bit of scrap here. So now my dog's trying to jump in the bath, honestly. So I'm just simply putting a random pattern, it's whatever you want on yours. You could stamp the words. I'm going to leave it at that. As I say, you could stamp whatever you wanted on yours. It's your candle, but it just makes them look a little prettier when it comes to opening that little window and you don't just see the plain top of a candle. So, actually didn't go through that time, which is a bonus. Right, so this now simply slides over the wick, just like that. And then we're just going to use the heat tool. Now, for some reason, my lead doesn't reach much more. But yes, I'm just going to simply heat it up, and then you just heat the candle, which melts and in turn just sort of, I don't know, covers the wax, the tissue paper, just the same as when we are printing on other candles. When I do the large candles, it's pretty much the same. Just press that bit down because I've got a small crease, and then that's that. I'm going to say, if you've just got any little bubbles, just smooth them out. Get rid of that bit of wax. Give that just a minute to cool. And then, where's my box gone? And then we're simply going to pop that one in there. Close my box up. And there we have it. And then obviously when you open this, you have your decorated candle inside. How cute is that? Minus the ribbon obviously, but again I did use this beautiful reversible Merry Mallow and copper ribbon, and I would have done exactly the same on that one had I have not forgotten. So I would advise you to make sure you punch your hole before you start closing it all up. But there we have it, a double jumbo Tealight box. Hope you enjoyed them, and I hope they come in handy for a little gift for you to give to someone. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!